G'day guys, just a little bit of a updatey sort of video. I've had this little garden shed for ages. I haven't really ever used it for much. It's just been where I've been throwing my e-waste and have a look at it another day. I decided I may as well have a spot that I can pull some of this crap apart, because we're getting a lot of it now that needs breaking down, and just means I can do it in any weather, any time kind of thing. I can sneak out here and pull a few bits and pieces apart. So I utilised a few old appliances that were just kicking around. Stuck a little solar panel on the roof just here. There's a little 100 watt up there. A couple of big old recycled 100 amp deep cells. Light bar from the other shed. The half dead light bar. It's got a couple of dead ones up the top there, as you can see. Bluetooth speaker, which I've just got to cut the cord on and wire into the 12 volts. We've got music out here as well. And then we can kind of get stuck into sorting and grading boards and things like that. And what I'll do is I'll box them up here in their grades and just take them out to the workshop and just store them at the workshop all boxed up. Which means I don't have to deal with a billion screws in my workshop, like what happens on the floor in here, because I'm not catching and collecting all the screws. They can still go on the ground, and one day I'll buy one of those magnetic pickup tools, you know, the ones that you can like release. They've got a clamp. You can release them and then drop all the crap back on the ground. I've also got my big old K 950 partner there, which I've got to get an ignition coil for. See if I can't find a big bit of ply or something to put up on top of this drum, or between the drum and the washer there. It's just so we've got a bigger bench to work with. The secret is that I just wanted to recycle a bunch of stuff rather than, you know, you have to go out and buy a bench or buy a work table or whatever. This little shed really wasn't getting used for anything. Just like it literally had a couple of old washers and dryers and stuff kicking around in here. Some car parts. We got a Milwaukee vac I got to work on. Cool copper hot water cylinder with a heat exchanger in it that I'll use for something one day. But yeah, like I didn't have anything really going on in here, so I thought I'd better do a little bit. Light bar, because it shines off the tin right the way through. Beautiful and bright, like it's not a very sunny day out there today. It kind of allows me to see what I need to see. Worst case, I quite often wear my head torch. But, what we're going to do now is I'm going to start melting this kind of stuff. Well, probably not this because it's already like block form, but which is easy to stack, easy to store. I'm going to start probably dealing with mainly copper and wire. I'm actually going to start buying wire off electricians. Stuff that's worth stripping, strip it down and melt it into bricks. And then we're going to play the stock market game on the scrap metal prices. And at one stage I got some prices on the copper. It's a nice big chunk of copper, as you can see, out of a server. At one stage the copper was looking at the kind of $8,000 a kilo, $8,000 a ton, sorry, $8,000 a kilo. So yeah, there's bits of copper in everything all over the place. I'm going to build a furnace, and we're going to make ourselves some copper ingots, because well, it's interesting, basically. Another thing we're going to do is collect all these gold pins. Ewaste Ben made a bit of an updated video after I went and visited him the other week. I took a bunch of e-waste to him in Melbourne and sold it to him, and he's made an updated video since my visit, explaining a bit about the gold flashing on boards. Doesn't always make them the most amazing board. It doesn't mean they're not good for gold recovery. It just means that the board buyers want chips. That's what the board buyers want. They want all these lovely chips. What's that one? Must be out of a CD drive. So yeah, got a few decent chips on them. Evidently, our slot CPUs very worthwhile. Apparently the CPU card in there must have some significant value in it. The other thing we're going to do is any slot cards. I think I scrapped them all already. We're going to, anything with gold fingers, we're going to start munching them off and keeping them. That's a decent board in that switch there. So I'm going to hit my telecom guy up for some more gear. He goes, not telecom itself, but he's in IT. Hit him up for some more gear and see what we can't come up with. Things like welders and stuff like that, they're not real great for, like, they've got a lot of boards in them, I suppose. It all adds up weight wise. Another couple of these copper CPUs and things like that. Basically, once I've got 1,000 kilos of copper, I'll throw it in the van and take it over to Victoria again. Get paid some pretty decent bucks. My local guys will give me like $4 a kilo over here. We can get up to 8, so $4.60 I think was the best I got priced over here, because they just want to buy it and on-sell it themselves. There's no real downer against them. It's just a stock market style game. So if I cut out the middleman, goes to the source, I'll go to the distributor, we can make significantly more money. This one's a a different one. It's a worm drive gear off a CD-ROM. Get a little bit of brass out of them. A little bit of brass, a little bit of copper here and there adds up massively by the time you scrap basically like a shed load of stuff. I've got 3 boxes. I got a couple of crates out here too, hang on. And that's some of what I brought back from my visit to Ewaste Ben. I was being a bit lazy evidently and left the steel on. The steel's worthless, so we're going to get rid of that. We'll work out how to get all the copper off those coils, if it's viable. Yeah, so I did bring a bit of stuff back because he said he doesn't want to throw it in low grade because it's a waste. Much rather me get more money for it by actually putting a bit more effort into it. Some brass bus bars there, and cards covered in gold pins. We've got to finish those off. The grass is going wild here. It started raining and the sun came out. Some brass down there. These are out of those telecommunications boxes. It's a 200 gram chunk of brass. Add up when you do 50 of the same thing. Yeah, even with that light bar going, we've still got a fair bit of storage, more than enough for a night, a good night of in here doing some work. The radio and the big light on, and you can charge me note as well, so we can listen to music while we're ready. Yeah, that's a little Ewaste den. So we'll do a bit of scrapping in here. You will see a few videos come out of here, me playing with Ewaste and showing you what to collect and what not to bother with. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next vid.